for all of you who's here and those who's going to see this on the replay. So, I decided to do this kind of Q&A thing, and I will try to do like every Thursday, maybe. So I already got some questions, and got message into my personal messenger. And for those who really think that you don't want to post anything because people going to see your name or something like that, I totally get it. So you're welcome to just message to my personal messenger, and then I can answer your question without telling anybody your name. So the first question I received, it was really very common, that has to do with adult children of alcoholics or addicts in general. So this nice lady is saying that she is an adult child alcoholic, and she is in emotionally abusive marriage, and she cannot leave the marriage because of her kids, because obviously she wants them to have a father, and different arrangements and financial difficulties and all of that. And she doesn't want to leave the marriage until the children are kind of grown out of the house. But how can she stay there? So the issue is here in this relationship is that she is in the marriage with a narcissistic person. And it's very common when you grew up as a child of alcoholic or an addict, and you didn't get enough of attention, or your love was really expressed as pain, like pain equals love. You think that the other people, when they hurt you, that's mean love. And I know that's really messed up in the head, but that's how we understand things. And so what happens, especially with kids like that, when you grow up as an adult, we're extremely loyal. It's like no matter what's going to happen, we're still going to stay wherever we are, no matter how hard it's going to be. So she's obviously suffering. And what is that you do in a situation like that if you cannot leave? So my answer is this. Number one, congratulations that you acknowledge where you are, because just acknowledging and assessing your situation is sort of the first step in actually changing it, making things better. So there are two truths that we need to understand. In this relationship, nothing's going to change. You cannot ask to be better. You cannot be better, no matter how slimmer you'll be, how prettier, how much you're gonna, run in circles around that person. They're not going to change. They the way they are. They're not changing. The situation is not gonna change. And also at the same time, needs to be the excuses for their behavior need to stop. You need to realize this is not gonna change, and you should not justify their behavior. That's another trait of adult children of alcoholics and addicts, is that we always find something why there is a reason for that. Like remember when your parent or caregiver, somebody who took care of you when you were growing up, would be drunk or not responsive, not giving you any attention. And did you always think, well, mommy is just tired. Daddy had a bad day. It's okay if they neglecting me. It's okay if they're abusing me. And so then you carry this into your adult life, and then you just justify everything that happening with the people in your life. And if they abusing you, you still justify and say it's okay. Well, they this and that, and then the sad part is, especially if you're in a marriage, you can think, well, they're abusive because they just had a very bad day at work, and maybe things will change when they finally get that promotion. Maybe when some coworker will leave, when the supervisor will retire. So you keep on hoping for something that's not going to happen. Not that I'm saying that they will never get promoted, but that even if they get promoted, even if that person's situation in life will change, the character is not going to change. So you need to realize that situation is not changing no matter what. And since you cannot leave, you don't want to leave, it's up to you. Meaning you're going to stop telling how this can change. You need to acknowledge where you are. And also you need to, that's the big news, you need to take care of yourself. Like literally take care of yourself. You need to start doing nice things for yourself. And number one thing is, especially for women, we need to find other people that can hear us, that can comfort us, have a quality time with your friends. Go find a good therapist that can help you through the rest of that marriage, that you can come out of it and have still not break down, because it's very easy to fall into that place where you feel sad and pity about yourself, And that's very common, especially in adult children alcoholics or addicts that who just feel like a victim because we cannot do anything. Well, guess what? You're an adult now. You're not a child anymore, and you can make changes in your life. And you can start small things, small steps, and do something nice for you today. Read a book, or take a bath, or have that muffin, or whatever. See a friend. Just by taking small things every day about to help yourself and care about yourself, you will learn that it's okay to do something for you, and you won't be scared to take a bigger steps. So that's my answer. So the next question I got. So the question was about that how to set boundaries when you don't want to sound rude and say no to other person. So here's another problem with adult children alcoholics or addicts is we are people pleasers. Oh my God, setting up boundaries? Are you kidding me? And then saying no? No way. That's, oh my God, they're going to expel us of the cave and we're going to die. So you don't have to be rude or mean to say no to another person and set boundaries like that. I know it's very difficult to set boundaries and say no to people that you love or your friend or your family members. And it's like, I had a client who she said she would like to do some other things after work, but her mom requires her calling her and talking for 2 hours every single day. And she's like, I could be watching a movie in those 2 days. This is draining. And I'm like, well, why don't you actually tell your mom that you don't want to talk to her today or you're busy? And she was like terrified actually to do that. So how is that you do? And by the way, I have a small online course on that, how to say no without sounding rude. And I will post a link for those who are interested. It's free course. You just can go and take it. Just few videos and few like just kind of read up. You can give you the practical advices how you can manage and situation you can say no without sounding rude or uncaring. So if let's say somebody, let's say you have a friend who wants, or coworkers or somebody that's important in your life, inviting you to events, and they say, we need you to come there and or do a presentation or whatever, something that you really cannot, like you don't want to do it, you have no energy to do it, but still afraid to tell them. The best way to say is, let me check my calendar and I'll get back to you. Today is very easy when you just go and message back somebody. You don't have to look at the eyes because that's the most scary part for the adult child of alcoholic or addict is to disappointing people, to saying something that will be upsetting to them. We want to please people. So when you're not in with the person face to face, it will be easier to say no. Now, like any other habit, when you start building it and you continuously doing little say no here, little say no here, then you will see that people react to you normal way and they're like, yeah, okay, fine, next time. And then you'll gain more confidence and then you will be much better with setting boundaries and saying no. So let's say somebody calls you and they say, and you already know that that person is going to take 2 hours of your life and you don't want to talk that long. You know how usually phone calls start, or even meeting somebody on the street, or your neighbor that just never lets you go, right? And you just went for a post, just pick up your mail, and then now suddenly you 2 hours into conversation you don't want to be in. What did you do? Usually, the conversation starts with like, "Hey, what you doing?" or "What are you up to?" or whatever. Right? That's the moment where you need to set expectation and say, "Oh, I'm doing great, but I was on the way to the store." You set the expectation for the person that the conversation is going to be short. So that's mean you don't have to disappoint them, and it's kind of in a way is not a big deal of pleasing another person because you already said you're going to be going soon. So when you talk for 5-10 minutes, you can say, okay, well, it was nice to catch up, but I'm so sorry, but I better run, I'll be late. Nobody's feelings got hurt, and you claim more of your time. um, there are also situations that we're afraid to say no because we want to please them. But if you find a situation that just continuously keep on going the same over and over, the same situation, and you're afraid to say no, just get enough courage and actually go say it. Okay, just say, okay, I'm gonna say it. You'll be very surprised that people take no as an answer. Fine, some you said no, they will go with somebody else. I had a client who her she had lots of work and her coworker, one of her coworkers, was continuously dropping her workload on her. And she was like, well, I cannot do more, but I'm afraid that I'll be fired if I'm going to say no. And I said, well, why don't you just tell one day that I'm already working on my projects and I don't think that I can give enough attention and I'm not capable of creating a high quality product for you. And I don't want you to get in trouble for that. So maybe next time I can help you, but not today. So she said something like that to that coworker. And guess what? The coworker found somebody else to dump her workload on. And my client was so surprised. She was like, I didn't know it's going to be so easy. So my point is start saying no to little things. You know, even if you're walking in the mall and people how always say, hey, please can you take this? Come here, I have a question. I have a question for you. Just say no. Walk around in the mall a few more rounds and just say no to everybody. Just to hear the saying of no, 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 thank you, no, thank you, no, thank you. Get comfortable with saying no. And it will be so much easier when you start using your no, you start setting your boundaries, you get in more habit, then you see it gets easier. And more than that, when you put boundaries, people respect you more because now, well, now you're valuable and now your time is valuable because you don't give that time all the time. So keep your energy and keep your balances. Okay, boundaries, not balance. Balance is good to keep up to, right? Before they run off and jump off the cliff. Okay, so then I had another question. And okay, so she says, sometimes when I remember my childhood, and it was a sad childhood, I feel very sad and like grieving and crying. What should I do about that? Even if I try to listen to a beat music or eat something and soothe myself, it doesn't work. So here's the thing about grieving, it has to be lived through. We don't like negative emotions. And more than that, if you grew up in the environment that if you get angry or sad or cry, you are not allowed to express your emotions and you were just undermined and gaslighted and all kinds of things, and you were told, no, this is really bad. You will not allow yourself any negative emotion, and then you will keep put like there's a wound that's bleeding and you keep on putting the bandage and you pretending to be everything is great, I'm going to go do yoga. Well, it still doesn't work, right? Especially with situation when you already lost something like a good childhood that you didn't even know you could have, right? Like that childhood is just sad. And I've experienced the same thing. We have to grieve that. We have to grieve of not having that childhood. And the grieving process does not happen when you just play fun music and go partying and doing yoga and breathing exercises. That's just a bandage. You need to heal the wound. And I'm inviting you, when you feel, or like just the feeling of coming of nowhere, like I don't know, just feel like I'm feeling so sad, like I lost something. Take a piece of paper and write down your feelings. Identifying the feelings is the number one step. You acknowledging that what you're going through. And it was already researched on that when you put the label on the feeling, it's already diminishes because immediately you kind of like separate that from yourself. So then you can take care of it when it's not a part of you anymore. So you just write it down and say feeling sad because, and maybe there's a story or something that comes to your mind. You just keep on writing. You get that thing out. Just write whatever comes to your mind. And then just be with that feeling and think, okay, well, I'm grieving. Yeah, I wish I had a nice father. I wish I had a nice childhood. I wish I was not beaten. I wish I was not abused. And just grieve of that childhood that you didn't have. Grieve for that inner child that was abused. And then just imagining that you're coming as an adult now and you're giving a hug to that child. And you say, I will never leave you. I'm here. And don't be afraid of negative emotions because when you are growing up, you are not given permission to be yourself and experience your emotions. You are abandoned by the people that really needed to take care of you. Now is your time to take care of yourself. Don't abandon yourself again because then there's nobody there by your side. You have to take care of yourself first. And this sounds selfish, but taking care of your feelings, meaning when you're honoring your feelings, you're allowing yourself to feel them. You say, it's okay. I have this feeling. I'm grieving. And just stay in there as long as it takes. And when the battery runs out, you'll be leaving that behind and you will move forward. So then you can deal with other things, but then it will not drag you down. Many times, grieving process is very difficult. Like when you lose a person, you lose a job, you lost a puppy, you lost a car, or anything else that we used to it, is going to be a grieving process. But it doesn't have to be so long. You just have to sit there and let it flow through you. And don't neglect it and don't run away from it. Okay, so I'll be talking for 15 minutes. I hope that you got value. So please leave a comment and say, thumbs up, thumbs down. Did you like it or not? And since this is all new, please submit the questions if you have any situation in your life you need me to talk about it, or ask some, gosh, I don't even know. I'll answer any questions I can have. So you can leave a comment or just send me on the messenger. And then my plan is next Thursday to do this again for 15 minutes. So have a good night. Bye-bye.